hates Mondays.
It's not
Loves
Monday.
lasagna.
Kicks
I don't.
dogs.
I'm actually not the. I mean, I'm fine with lasagna. I don't choose Italian food.
I don't think you know who Garfield is.
Why wouldn't I know who Garfield is?
Because you're not reacting to this at all.
No, she's acting exactly as Garfield would. Just grumpy and mad. Does that make you John and me Odie?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
because she kicks me a lot, and then she just treats you as an idiot.
Because I'm gay and you're retarded.
Now she's laughing. You know why? It's a very Garfield move.
Stop before I know. All right. I'm going to take my headphones off so I don't sweat through everything. Also, they look really weird on my head. So you just guys just let me know if everything's still going well.
I'm looking at the little short hairs in the middle of your head.
I know. They look terrible. These right here?
Let's do more visual bits.
There's a fucking video.
Yeah, and we'll use the power of words to paint.
Okay.
Describe them.
I know. I was trying to. They're like whiskers on your head.
They look exactly like my facial hair, but it's on top.
Right.
Exactly.
And more sparse.
Oh, yeah. That's why I usually shave my head, but I have not been doing well with the upkeep.
It reminds me of the North Pole because it's just slowly receding into
It's our
nothing.
ozone layer?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for. My whole head is
It's a topographical map.
trying to raise awareness of our environment. No one-use plastics. So,
Looks like a nuclear holocaust.
no, that's right here. That's the hair NATO in the middle. You see it?
What's up with that?
That's just, I don't know. That's just a genetic defect.
It's like you have some
I
white
have
hair
a
on the
little
beard
circle.
and then...
No,
Oh,
it
that's
looks
just
like
called
it's
getting older.
swirled.
No, there's like a swirl. I have a swirl in my hair.
Are you going to blame it on the Russians?
No, it's just the weather.
Oh, okay.
I like having weather on my face. So,
Huh.
yeah, hair NATO. Or hurricane? I don't know.
Hurricane's pretty good.
All right. Well, now that we grind that to a stop. Getting older. Father's Day. None of us are celebrating. So, but we all have, I think we all have different reasons. We're going to go with yours first. What is your reason you don't really celebrate?
The reason why I don't celebrate Father's Day is because my dad's birthday is like 3 weeks from now. So I just combine them. Like,
So you're just lazy.
yeah, I'll call him, but I'm not going to see him.
My
it's
birthday's 3 weeks after Christmas, and it 100% fucking counts as a different holiday.
Yeah, but I don't get
Catherine
you a
made
Christmas
Father's
present,
Day about her. So,
It's all about Catherine.
Catherine. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
Okay.
So, that was masterful.
That
one
was
was
the
really
fastest
good.
we've gotten to it, too. It's just 30 seconds into the pot.
Has this always been what your family did? Because, like, when did your parents get divorced?
My parents got divorced when I was 18, but we knew they were getting divorced when I was 12.
So their marriage died when you were 10, probably.
It died on arrival. Like, they broke up and then...
I think it died when you were born.
No, I'm
killed
the
it.
reason why it stayed together like Frankenstein for another 18 years.
Well, that was all for naught, wasn't it?
Anyway.
Look at you.
So they just stayed together till you were out.
Until I
then-
left. Well, until my dad actually got his second wife lined up, and then
Oh, okay.
he went and left her.
So he was already doing his own thing out in the field, basically.
Yeah, when I was like 13 or 14, he was off in China having fun, going through a midlife crisis.
So are your parents actually from China?
No, my dad was working in China.
Okay. I'm just asking because you're of Chinese descent.
I understand.
So how did you guys, like, what generation are you?
I guess the second generation, because first generation.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
gonna say that no matter what I say.
No
Fuck
prize.
off.
Just take it. Come on. Come on, Odie. So
Sorry, I'm retarded. I don't know how to react to jokes. So, yeah. So my parents got divorced. I don't know where that
that's
was
not the question I asked you. I asked you. So you're second generation.
Second generation. Grandparents moved over after World War II.
On both sides of your family.
On both sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did your parents meet?
My dad worked at Apple, and my mom worked at a coffee shop nearby, and he would come every week, and then she finally just gave him his number and said, "Call me. I'm free on Wednesday."
Your dad worked at Apple like during the ground floor, and you're this broke now. I mean, I
His
feel like
dad's
that was a
doing well.
while ago.
My dad still works for Apple.
I
He
guess
just
I was
didn't
just
give me any of the money.
He's too busy paying off his last
Shitty
wife.
man, huh?
And,
Yeah, he really is.
and trying to find new ones. So.
Dude, he's looking for a 3.0. It's not looking
I think
good
you could have
for-
manipulated that situation better. I'm going to put this one on you.
He's already getting his phone bill paid.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, who the fuck isn't? Except for me.
Not me.
Do you know how many adults are like on their parent? I'm on the family plan,
know, that
and then they
annoys the
have like
shit
a
out of me.
fucking phone number for whatever state their parents live in.
Yeah.
Hate that shit.
I still have my phone number for that state, but I mean,
hate it 'cause
I
I'm
pay for it
jealous.
myself. My parents have never paid my phone bill. They have
My
never
mom,
once paid
my
it.
mom did it like when I was a teenager, but then it was like, you know. But that was also when you had like a Nokia phone and you only used it for emergencies,
Oh yeah, 'cause
right?
you're also
Yeah.
on a family plan because you were in the immediate family. So that makes sense. You're supposed to then.
Yeah, we're Chinese. We like to save money. So
That's not saving money. That's just somebody else paying for you.
Yeah.
Your dad's not
That's
saving
you
shit.
being
sounds
a
like saving money to
Capricorn.
me.
I mean,
No,
not really, though.
I'm not against it,
Okay.
but it's anyway. Yeah.
No.
So you're.
We think you're
So you're
pathetic.
saying the Chinese really are, as my friend's Japanese mom would say, like this with money. I made a fist. My friend's mom, he was half white. He's half Japanese. His mom was from Okinawa. Looked like me. Looked like me, but with better hair. So she was the most racist woman I ever met in my life.
Okay.
She was hilarious.
Yeah, Japanese are notoriously racist and not really
all Asians are pretty
people.
racist. Actually, everyone's kind of racist when they get down to it. Anyway, that's not my point.
Okay.
My point is, she worked at a restaurant called Nikki's. It was great. One of the best Japanese restaurants in the city. It was actually really good.
I'm starving.
But a lot of the kitchen work was Mexicans.
Yeah.
And she would call them all tacos. Because, and it's already hilarious, but that's not even the reason she did it. The reason she did it was because taco is Japanese for octopus and Mexican steel. So,
Shut the fuck up.
so there's so many layers to her awesome racism.
That's excellent.
That's hysterical.
So
Yeah.
if you want to say taco truck, it means a whole another thing now. So
Yeah, no, my dad's racist towards Japanese people, for sure.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, there is a lot of racism between your borders.
I can't
over
tell
there.
if it's tongue in cheek. Like, it's one of those things where he'll say it and then he'll wink, and I'm not sure if he knows it's bad, which is why he's saying it, or he actually believes that Japanese people aren't people.
No, I think most of it is tongue in cheek. It's like racism over here. There's a lot of
Okay.
times where it's like okay, the only ones who are allowed to be racist on stage right now are like the black people and some Asians, right? And when they
Brown
do
Asians,
racism on
yeah.
stage, it's tongue in cheek. It's supposed to be funny. You're bringing up something that's true, but you're not saying everyone really fucking. All white people don't smell like wet dogs. All right, that's not. So
I beg to disagree.
Catherine
actually.
doesn't, and she has a wet dog at home. So
I wear Balenciaga, thank you.
yeah, that's
This fucking Garfield energy is
my-
really
that's
killing
my
the
point.
vibe right now.
Yeah, thought you would totally like a compliment for once that you don't smell like a wet dog.
I did like it. I
Even
don't know.
brought up your animal. Your dog, not your pussy. So, all right, let's get back on track, guys. Bang, bang, bang. Pew, pew, pew. So, yeah, I think most racism like around the world is tongue in cheek. You're bringing up something that's like goofy that other people do. Mexicans, yeah, we do line up outside fucking Home Depots looking for work. That's a thing that happens. So, if you make fun of it, you're not lying.
What's funny is like my dad's not that cheap. It's his wife. His I call her 2.0. That's the second wife is
Yeah.
the one that's like super cheap. And I don't understand it because the reason why she married him is because he spent a ton of money on her. And now that they're together, she's
mean,
like,
that's America.
what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly. So, what does your dad say about Japanese people besides they're not people, which Japanese people say about Koreans? So,
I mean, it's very generic. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, which is why I was trying
Stop
not
protecting him.
you're
Maybe.
protecting your
No,
dad. You want your phone bill paid so bad. I'm here so hard you brought all this up.
Well, I think he's still bitter about the rape of Nanking, and he'll just be like, those damn Japs
First of
won't
all,
take
it wasn't the
responsibility
rave
for
of
anything."
Nanjing.
I don't even know what that is. That sounds like fun.
It was the rape of Nanking, and
I said rape of Nanjing.
You said
the,
rave
You said the
of
rave of
Nanjing.
Nanjing.
And
So
I just
two-
saw glow sticks
You
and
know
a
what?
lot of
Maybe
Asians.
it's my mistake. He's mad about this rave he went to, not about this historical horrible thing that happened during.
He
the
spiked
World
all
War
of the Molly with heroin. It's real fucked up.
II. Japanese guy cock blocked him. Fucking DJs. So
They used to shoot meth, not babies. It was really, All right, that was a
no, that's what they did. You're
Nanjing
right.
thing. Okay. You've never heard of the rape of Nanking?
You didn't even.
I don't think you did.
Don't look at me and ask me that question.
I just know it was bad. I'll be honest. It's just like I never.
Well, the correct way it sounds bad. The Rave of Nanking sounds like some shit I want to
Nanjing.
do.
The Rave
Whatever.
of Nanjing sounds like someone's Sweet 16 party.
Yeah,
So,
right. Sounds like something that should have been filmed.
Yeah. Well, they both should have been, but one's for posterity so we can get the people involved,
Yeah.
and the other because it was fun. You pick.
Well, it was so bad that the Germans who were doing the Holocaust were like, "Hey guys, calm down a little bit," to
Yeah.
the Japanese.
I like that he's giving me facts about something he doesn't know. He's like just like
I
the,
know 5 things, and I will name all of them on this podcast.
I learned 5 things doing,
Dad,
doing
please
a
love
trivia
me.
night.
I need my phone bill paid.
I played HQ trivia and I learned 5 things.
Could you imagine if that was one of the sponsors? 10 questions of 10 multiple choice questions about the rape of Nanking.
Wow. All right. Well, that was fun to us. Yeah, fun
Not for
racism like
Catherine.
that. You know what's weird to me about that is that now when you say Asian, like here's why you used to say Oriental, is because it was to differentiate between Asians, you know, like yourself, and Asians like Indians, and Asians like, you know, that are more Russian.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like the Muslim Asians. So that's how you do.
Well, you know why I think the Asians hated when you used the word Oriental? It was really the tone. Like, it's just the
Yeah.
way people would say Oriental. It's like, that's fucked up.
No, I get it.
You should just use the word Asian.
I'm not
at that
against
point.
not using it anymore. Now it's like it got used too flippantly. You're right.
Yeah.
You know, when you say
These
Oriental.
damn, it's really because it's the word fucking kept being included
Yeah.
before the word Oriental that they're like, whoa.
And the
whoa,
word
whoa.
railroad finished it. So
Well, also, how fucked up is it to have your slur be something you can't pronounce properly?
exactly, it wasn't a slur. It was just a weird word.
Okay.
It's like what we used to call little people, right?
Midget?
Yeah, I figured you'd lean into that.
I was waiting for
Are
it.
you not allowed to say it?
You're not supposed to, but it is a word that's in the dictionary. It's not like other words that we.
Well, it's like how you're not supposed to say retard.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just the way people said it, like, turned it into a thing where it's like, oh, that's a bad word.
Word police. All right, you're gonna get.
You're very quick. Ironic,
With
because
my
everything else you
words.
do is very slowly.
No, I'm not that slow. I'm just fat.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
I'm starting to see why you guys included me on the podcast. I'm just waiting for something interesting
You
to
can
happen.
join in at any time.
I'm waiting.
I threw you that Rave of Snake King softball. You just totally dropped
I
it.
didn't know what it was.
That's. But you knew he said something wrong.
I had no idea he said something wrong.
You really thought that was a Rave of Nanjing?
I literally did not know. I was like, I've never heard of either of these things.
Oh, I'm like a Rave of Nanjing T-shirt now. So
That would be so funny.
God. Just me by myself and glow sticks going, hey.
well, we have an episode title. So
I'm just very tired today.
really, I couldn't tell
Yeah.
because one, you're not angry.
Shit come
Let's
in
finish
hot.
with Meech's dumb bullshit. We'll get to your fun thing. We're almost done with him because this is boring.
That's what I'm saying.
I
So
mean,
your
you're the
parents
one
met-
asking me the questions. We can move on anytime.
Yeah, but you could like spice it up a bit. So just have some
Add
like
some Szechuan
flair.
peppers?
I figure like every episode we've only ever talked to her, and I try to include you.
And I'm giving him his moment, and he's not
and
shining.
you're just like, nah, my parents are boring.
I mean,
my dad only cheated on my mom my whole life, and has a young
Yeah,
daughter
and
my age. Jeez. He's about to
no,
set
his
up for
wife
one
is
that's
about my age.
That's what
That's,
sorry. I said daughter. I
Yeah.
meant wife.
I was dating a girl older than my dad's wife earlier this year.
Gross.
And what?
Did I say something?
You made a noise that was like,
Oh,
yuck.
I didn't
That was
notice.
I noticed.
How old was that?
She was 37, and my dad's wife is 35 now.
And your dad is how old?
He's 52.
Yeah. Well, good for your dad. Gross for you. So,
Oh, I found some pictures of. He sent me like these weird Asian pictures that they took, like wedding pictures before.
weird
Do you
Asian
know what I'm
Something I
talking
could
about?
find on X videos.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's like
You
I put a
porn.
squid upper.
like
Anyway.
couple pictures. I don't know how to explain this.
Like they're dressed in like traditional outfits, or
Traditional outfits, but also like in front of buildings, and they're like on the beach, like they're like very like they're like wedding photos, I guess.
Stoic, weird bullshit.
No, it's just very extra, like the
Like
scenery.
Ornate.
Yeah.
The robes with the big sleeves and all that
Yeah,
shit.
they got the cheap how dresses.
hella wanna do
and-
That's what
shit
they're
like
called.
that.
I don't know
Do
what
you
they're called
really?
in Chinese.
Yeah, I'd like it. I think if I get married, I want like ridiculous something. Something very extra, like in terms of photos.
Like in ramen bath or something.
Yeah, something like that. And then
She wants to be in togas on an elephant.
like there's this great banquet hall on Coney Island Avenue. It's like a Russian banquet hall on Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn. Just very ornate, like a lot of tapestries, just whatever. I'd love to just hold the reception in there and basically just make sure the food is like delicious Vietnamese food.
You know what?
And-
Just go out, go to Ahika Castle. So
and I want good music and cocaine. And then that's it. That's my wedding.
Okay.
everyone gets
I
a
can't
little plastic vial or glass, and now you're being fancy. Or crystal, forget it. A little crystal vial with a bump inside.
Wow.
Everyone gets that
That's
next
a
to the...
wonderful, that's a lovely idea.
Yeah.
You definitely are having drug-related wedding photos. Did you do wedding photos?
We'll get to me in a second.
Oh.
We got-
Everybody did.
It's you, then me.
Okay.
So, so it's called a cheap how dress.
Yeah, cheap how.
How's that?
That's
spelled?
the women's version. QIPAO.
Let's keep out. Okay, sure.
Cheap how.
Cheap out. She.
Yeah, I'm
QI
probably
is cheap.
pronouncing it incorrectly. 'cause
Yeah, since you got Nanking right.
I'm pretty sure it's Nanjing, but sure, keep correcting me on my culture.
You have a phone, right?
Yep.
You have a data plan?
Yeah, the way
Yeah,
it's
I mean-
spelled and the way it's pronounced can be different.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Okay.
But you didn't know either.
Yeah, I-
No. The rape of Nanking.
The rape.
Pretty sure it's pronounced Nanjing.
Either way, you got rape wrong. So we'll split the
Nan-
difference.
I
I
mean,
think my mouth moves and like doesn't process the words.
She's
that are
literally just
supposed to be
pulling up her own
coming out.
Instagram right now. She's not
the
even looking.
Nanjing massacre.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I think that's what you had to answer. Cool.
But then the rape of Nanking.
So two different things. Okay.
So it says
No.
the rape of Nanking, and then there's the Nanjing massacre.
Okay.
But there's a book called The Rape of Nanking, The Forgotten Holocaust of World War II. Is a best-selling 1997 nonfiction book.
The
All right.
Nanjing Massacre or the Rape of Nanjing is
27
previously
Rape of
written as the Nanking Massacre or Rape of Nanking. Was an episode of mass murder and mass rape committed by Imperial Japanese dirty fucking troops against the residents of Nanjing.
Dirty fucking. That's
Yeah,
in,
dirty
that's in
fucking.
Wikipedia.
Yep, it's. I made the edit right now.
That's what you're saying. Cool.
they-
So we were both technically right.
I mean, I guess I
You are
the more right one.
No, because you saw the rave wrong. So
You went 1 for 2. All right.
all right. I did not know that. I did not know it got changed to Nanjing, which is probably what it was called over there.
It was always called that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and just white people fucked it up.
But then it
It's like
says
Naples
the
and
rape of
Napoli.
Nanking. And another thing I'm reading about this.
Right. Well, he just said the reason. It got.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
It's
I
like
know.
Japan, Japan, that kind of Nippon,
Mm-hmm.
Japan, Nippon.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what
The
are we? History
legacy
this?
of the
So-
massacre.
wow. Now you're just looking at your phone because you can see your reflection. So.
It's all about Catherine.
No, that was fun. All
Okay.
right. I guess we had. I mean, I'm glad we have Rave of that. That was a fun little
Rape of
thing.
Nanking.
But yeah, I think your dad's interesting. You don't. So
I don't know
let's
what
just-
to talk about.
I
with
I
that.
know. So we're gonna go to Catherine. How many days sober?
I got drunk last night.
Okay.
Just kidding. Ha! I wanted to
God
see your
damn
fucking
it.
reaction. He was so upset that I wasn't drinking the other day. He was like, I hate that you can do this. I am 28 days sober
Yay.
from alcohol. I did a bunch of
Gross.
cocaine last night.
Well, you've been doing that, so
I know, but like, I don't think it was good cocaine. And maybe.
I think it was just sawdust. Actually, I fell in a tree.
And I just, I don't know. I'm just kind of like. I'm just over it.
Cocaine or being sober?
I mean, I don't know. I'm very tired today. I didn't have any fun. I was just like high on cocaine, not having fun.
Who are you with?
I did a few shows and I hung around with a bunch of different comics and
Yeah, 'cause I saw you around midnight. And that's
yeah,
why
and I like wanted to drink and I was like, well, I can't drink and
so I might as well just do some blow.
yeah,
So you did like. So who were you with doing coke? Is what I meant.
I was doing the coke by myself.
That's sad.
Why is that sad?
Because you're just doing blow by yourself, not even having fun, like you're telling
Yeah,
us
but
right
everyone
now.
around me's wasted, so I was like, I'll just do some coke. I mean, they don't need to. They already have one thing they're doing. I need one thing.
I respect your reasoning.
If I throw them cocaine, now they're just drunken on cocaine, and
I wasn't saying give them your cocaine. It was like your cocaine. Everyone's coke stories always seem to be like, we did some coke and we all had fun, or I did coke by myself and I'm.
Well, I think this was not the greatest bag of blow. I bought it on Memorial Day, and it incidentally, I got home that night. Had I been drunk, my dog would have died because he shat a pool of blood. But because I was on cocaine, did I talk about this?
Yes.
No, you talked to us about this, not on podcast though.
Oh, yeah. So he shat a pool of blood. And because I was on coke, I had the energy and stamina to take him to the doggy ER. So cocaine was a great choice that night. But it was not a great bag of blow.
What was wrong with your dog, by the way? Did they ever find out?
They don't know. And I mean, he had to be there overnight, and they flushed him out. It might have been this thing, I can't remember. It's like GHE. I can't remember if those are the things.
Do you think someone fed him something he wasn't supposed to have?
No, I don't know. But these were the signs, and it's something that can just happen in any dog, and they don't know why.
Okay.
And if they start shitting raspberry jam shit, they could go into shock and die.
Right.
So, but he might have cancer, but he might not have cancer. This is one of those things. I don't know what to do. Maybe tell me this. So he had to have this ultrasound that cost me $600.
To you when it comes to cancer.
Yeah, well,
and
he
money.
is a cancer. But this shit cost me $3,200 at the vet. Okay.
You should just eat the dog.
Right. I mean, that's the plan when he dies. Just keep him with me.
Okay.
No, but
$3,200.
And they're like, no, I have a whole bit about what I'm going to do to him.
Okay, well, just do it. Talk about this part
Okay.
first.
So $3,200, and they're like, all right, he can go home, but he's still having diarrhea, blah, blah, blah. This has been a whole fucking ordeal. He's been shitting in my house. He's fine now, thank God, because, anyway, they were like, come back in 3 weeks, spend $600 more on top of the $3,200 I've spent, and have another ultrasound because there's a nodule we think we see on his spine that could be nothing or it could be cancer. And so here's my logic. I can go spend $600 and find out it's nothing. So that's a lose. Or I can go and spend $600 and find out it's cancer and know that I cannot afford and not, I am not one of these people. I am not my mother. I cannot spend $10,000 trying to save an 11-year-old dog from cancer.
It sounds like you've spent $5,000
Yes,
to stop your dog from having diarrhea.
I've spent $3,200
Plus another $600.
No, I
plus-
haven't spent that. That's
okay.
what we're. That's
Pay
what we're.
attention, Rave.
Too many numbers.
Yeah. So I've spent
That's
$3,200.
First of all, that's not a lot of numbers. It's literally two different numbers.
I know, right?
And
Thank
three,
you.
your job is to take care of numbers at work.
I know.
So why am I?
So that's why people you work with keep going out of business.
So basically, it's like, well, look, my dog is in
Yeah,
very
it's 2 for 3. Actually, 3 for 4. The last 3 of the 4 companies I worked for, no money left. So exciting! It's so fun watching them fail. Just watching them fail.
Well,
okay.
So he's been. How long has he been sick for?
well, no,
been about a month now.
Well, yeah, but he's fine now.
Right.
Fortunately, we figured out the food thing. The poop is solid. There's no blood in it. Whatever. But it's been a fucking ordeal. Right before I left town last week, or whenever the fuck that was, he had diarrhea again and some shit, and it was a whole nother fucking thing. Now we're pretty much on track, feeling good. And this is not a weak animal. This is a dog that does not seem like he's 11, very active, very friendly, blah, 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 the whole thing. He's not ready to die. It's not like this. I had to go see my fucking mom, okay? And I love my mom, but she adopted a 14-year-old dog in April. Right, very nice.
It's already
Turns
dead.
out that thing has tumors. So while I was taking a break from my fucking sick dog, we had to have some dog funeral for her new dog that I had never met before. So, yeah. And that shit took 2 goddamn hours. She had to tell this woman who came to put the dog to sleep in the home, the entire eating habits of the last month and a half. You know, well, she won't eat sweet potato, but my other dogs love sweet potato. But every time I made a sandwich, she would look at me like she was hungry. And I was like, the dog is dying. Just let's get this over with. So that's why I went to California, essentially, to help my mom put a dog down that I'd never met before.
Yeah. Still hurts.
So my point is I'm thinking I'm not going to do the ultrasound Because what are the chances that we find out it's cancer and it's in such an early stage that I can afford the treatment?
Interesting. Or what else could it be?
Or it's just a nodule that means nothing.
Yeah. Like a little fatty tumor sac. Yeah. I mean, peace of mind's all you're really paying for at that point.
Yeah, and like he's 11. And like I don't mean to sound callous. I love this dog more than
if you have the money, you totally just do it. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah. But it's like I've already spent a lot of money. And you know, what are we buying? We're not buying a new dog that's going to last me 10 years. You know, we're buying like maybe a few extra years on his life, if it's even cancer.
Right.
What would you do, numbers guy?
I would probably just put the dog down.
Now?
You would have done that 5 years ago.
Are you fucking serious?
3,200. No, I just think that it's like I feel like you have to put in the 600.
You are not helping the stereotype right now. So.
I think you should put in the 600 to see if he has cancer, and then if he does have cancer, put him down now, because
if he does have cancer.
If he does have cancer.
It depends how bad the cancer is, too. You don't have to put them down right away.
That's what I mean. And like, if he
otherwise, you're letting the dog live just with cancer for like way longer.
First of all, not all cancer is the same. All right,
but that's the thing.
Where's the possible
on his
tumor?
spleen?
On the spleen.
Maybe
they can live.
Spleen's pretty bad.
Like with people,
but you know
can
how
have
vets
cancer and
are.
get through stuff. Oh yeah, sometimes they want to over.
That's the thing. They're like, we highly recommend. I went to a vet once about this dog because he was puking, right? Like when he was a puppy. And we go, and they were like, you need to take him to the ER because we're closing. So we did. And they were like, here's your estimate. It was $2,000. They were like, he has something going on in his stomach. It could be this or it could be gas. And we looked at him and we're like, we're going to take him home. Guess what? Gas. It was gas.
Yeah.
But they're like, you know, and they make you feel like you don't really care if you don't leave him overnight and make sure, you know. And so it's like, this dog does not act like he has cancer. He had an issue with shitting blood. That issue is now over. I'm thinking if he fucking has cancer, he's going to start getting sick, at which point we will say goodbye. But why am I going to pay $600 to find out, okay, he does have cancer and I still can't afford it, and I'd be letting him live until it was painful and putting him down anyway.
Right.
I could save the $600, just heed the
buy
warning
like
signs.
a really nice funeral home.
Right, we'll put that towards his comfort in the time period.
Exactly,
yeah,
right?
so.
Well, is that what you would do? I feel like he doesn't understand.
That's
he
what
has
I
no
would
heart.
end up doing. Like, the dog my wife was like that with cats. She would put too much money into them just so they would die 2 weeks later.
Right, and yeah. And
so,
I love, this is my dog. Like, there's not a dog in the world like this. I know we're all beautiful snowflakes. We're not. Okay, this is a very special animal.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, she was like that with, like, she had our last cat that passed.
Yeah,
Indy.
but cancer.
Shut up.
Count.
I'm talking about the feeling, not about the animal.
I mean, mine's a fact, not a feeling, but sure. Go on.
You know, fuck yourself, Garfield. So I'm trying to relate to what you're talking about so people understand what you're saying.
She's coming in so
instead
hot
of
right
just
now.
an angry,
just so mad that she has to spend money on her.
Instead of an angry windbag of feelings over here.
Responsibility that she paid for.
Shut up. So, same thing. He was sick. He had a tumor on his kidney. He went, got it checked out. It was cancer. What can we do? We can give him this shot that'll kind of perk him up for a couple of weeks, and he's probably going to die right after that. That's exactly what happened.
What would you do?
Let me finish my sentence, Misha. So that's what happened. He trying to make it about kids, and we've already gotten past that. So
kids,
exactly. So yeah. So yeah, people do that. They want to put the money in because they want it to get better, but you have to be realistic. And luckily,
my mother's like that.
The vet we have in Texas is a realistic vet.
So I should go to Texas with the dog.
You want to go to a vet that isn't going to just try to treat you like you're bringing in a car.
And I don't have one of those.
Yeah, I don't. Like, you want to talk to, I don't know how to find a vet here in the city. But
yeah, I want to talk to somebody who's like, look, here's the, like me. I want to talk to me. I want to talk to me as a vet. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to fuck me. I want to date me. I want to talk to me as a vet.
That's the thing. People, like, there are vets out there who, like, that's like name of doctors for people. They don't really want to help you. They're just there to get the money. They don't give a shit. Like, oh, I think it's this. Was I wrong? Oh, I guess so. You know, that's why they just give you fucking pills and shit. Same thing with your animal a lot of times.
Yeah, and I love this dog, and it was very sad seeing him in the hospital and shit and whatever. But, like, I also did it because I was like, okay, this is not like a life. Like, he needs to be in the hospital. He got sick, but it's not like, oh, we should just put him down. He's fine now. But so that was the price I paid for that, for whatever the fuck happened. I think he ate my old roommate's ghee. Okay.
Your roommate was a fucking asshole.
She's a fucking cunt. Who keeps that shit? So she wouldn't close her door, right? I had a doggy gate and I let her use it because she wanted to leave her door open when she wasn't home. Well, I guess she had ghee in there. And I come out of my room one day. I got home from work, went into my room, then came out because I had to go to a show. And I let the dog out with me. And she goes, "You're a very bad, bad boy. You're a bad boy." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, I'll bite. Why is my dog a bad boy?" You know? And she's like, "He ate my ghee." And I'm like, "What is ghee?"
Yeah.
You know?
When you
And-
said ghee, I thought you meant like her karate outfit.
No, right? Yeah. No, I know. And she was like, it's like, like butter. And I'm like, "Okay, well, where was your ghee?" And she's like, "In my room." And I'm like, "Okay, you're allowed to keep whatever you want in your room, obviously, but why are you keeping like butter in your room? Like, why aren't you just keeping
She's
it in the
afraid
kitchen?"
you would use it.
I didn't understand. And I was like, "Well, he'll eat any food. I told you that when you moved in. And like, if you're going to keep food in your room, maybe just put it up high, but also maybe just keep it in the kitchen." I don't know.
What did she use it for?
Fuck if I know. The bitch was crazy in my mind.
It's probably some kind of tantric bullshit she would do. She just
dumb cunt. I'm
she
so
kept it
happy
in her
she's
vagina
gone.
to make her fucking periods come out faster.
So she ate
Period butter.
And look, the dog gets into shit.
That's very
Uncle
funny.
K's
and
period butter.
That is the most wrong description. It's just used
It's
as
called
like
blood
a butter.
salad. So anyway, I think that could have been something happened, and then I think like an infection.
Did she say what was in it?
I don't know what's in it. I googled it. It's
Look up ghee.
it's something you use
Ghee
to
butter.
cook with as like a butter replacement.
Okay, that explains it. Then never mind. That's all I needed
Yeah.
from it. I thought.
So whatever.
Yeah.
So
When you said it was just, it's like a butter. Like that could mean a lot of things. That could mean a lot of different uses because your roommate was kind of weird.
yeah.
So she would just like.
Yeah,
Now she had 10 religions going on in her room, which is too many.
I know, right? And
So-
I now live like a comic, which I never thought I would say was better, but it like is 100% better. And everything is at peace. It is like way more relaxed in my home. Like it's just nicer. So anyway, it was like he ate this ghee, and then I noticed like things starting to get weird, but they would be weird and then go away, and then this raspberry jam situation happened, and then I had all the cocaine and blah blah
This
blah.
episode brought to you by Smucker's Jam,
So
part of a complete breakfast.
So, just to sort of close this off for me, I'm not going to get the second ultrasound, and I'm just going to wait and to see if he develops. Now, should it weigh heavy on me if I find out he does have cancer and I didn't get the second ultrasound, or is it
If
like?
you can't get it removed anyway, I mean, what are you going to do?
I mean, how much fucking money is that going to be? Like, you know
Well,
what I'm saying?
Here's what I had to do for my dog last year. He had 2 growths on his eyes, one right here, one in here, and we found him. They were really small. In the last year, they like quadrupled in size, where he couldn't really see out of one eye,
Right.
and this eye was dragging his eyelid down.
Yeah.
So we looked to see how much it would be done. Basically, we had to do like $2,500 for everything on him. He had like a mass on his neck.
So I've already paid more money
Hold
than
on.
you had to pay for eye.
This all comes
masses.
back to you. So I'm going to bring it back to you, Catherine. Don't worry. We're going to
She's
round the
so
corner.
nervous.
Going to crash right into Catherine's truck. So it's
Get T-boned.
we couldn't afford it, but luckily on YKWd, like we shared a fundraiser for it, and everyone put in for it. Sal Volcano, Rich Voss, basically 5 comics paid for it, and then a bunch of fans put in $10, which was amazing. I really appreciated it. So we
What's
took
your
it-
sign?
Virgo? Why?
Just
What does that
curious.
have to do with that?
I could never ask people for money.
I had a hard time with it. So
Well, I mean, I'm not judging you, but it's like I'm a Capricorn. I'm very weird about money.
yeah.
I
Well,
think
I've
it's
never.
because you'd feel hurt that people wouldn't give you money.
I didn't think
I
of
think
it.
you would take it very personally. No, like that's a real thing. I think that the reason why we're
I don't
want to
depend on other people.
I just
and
said we
we're
were about to
afraid-
make it about you, and you had to make it about you early. So
I don't know. For me, it's like I'm afraid if I were to do a GoFundMe and nobody would donate, I think that would hurt so badly that I would like not put myself out there.
Well, I mean, that's
for
like
that
throwing
in
a
the first
party that
place.
nobody comes to, too.
well, to
but
be fair, no one did donate until it got shared on YKWd. So thanks to Robert Kelly and Liz Friati. They're the ones who really got people to put in for it.
and that's lovely. No, and,
yeah.
and I'm not judging.
So that's not what I'm getting at, though.
Okay,
what I'm
anyway.
getting at is, so we took him in. They got these removed.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes are perfect. But the mass on his neck, it's too close to an artery, so they couldn't remove it. So, because it was going to cost more money than that to do all
Yeah.
that. So this was just to get the ultrasound, get the eyes taken care of. So our vet was like, look, it may just be a fatty mass. It may be cancer.
Right.
Keep an eye on him, and we can't remove it because we'll cut. But here's some. They gave him some steroids. So now he's jacked. No, no, it's like some prednisone, and it kind of shrunk a little bit, and he's more active, and he's been fine since then. He's actually been better than we first had him. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but right now he's great. It's been 6 months, so since everything, since the fundraiser, January, since he got everything taken care of. So he's good now. It's great. It could all change. That thing on his neck could become horrible in 2 weeks. So I don't think you're wrong to not want to put in an extra. We could take him to another vet who does that type of surgery and try to get $10,000 so we can remove this thing. But
And how old's your dog?
We don't know exactly because we found him.
Or like around.
They think he's around eight or 9.
And it's like, my dog is, not that I'm justifying this, but I mean, he's 11.
Yeah.
So it's like, and he does not seem like he's 11, but it's like he's had a life,
Yeah.
And it's like, what would I be trying to save at this point? Like, I never want to say goodbye to this animal. If I could preserve this animal for my entire life, I would preserve the fucking animal. I had a portrait painted with him, okay? Like,
you can just die early. And then
I could kill myself.
You
which,
get buried together like King Tut.
Yeah, like my friend Matthew.
I'm just imagining her with like a giant.
But you're the one. You're the one who's alive. Just fill my coffin with coke.
The pyramids. It's Indiana Jones. She gets tomb raided.
That's what she calls a Saturday night. So
I wish. My friend Matthew in college was in this anatomy class, and he found this dead cat, and he brought it home, and he boiled the bones, and then strung them together and made a skeleton. And I've asked Matthew if he would do that to my dog. You know what I mean?
Your dog?
Yeah, when he dies, boil him
That's
down.
a much bigger pot.
And turn him into. I know he said he won't do the whole dog, so I've written a bit about this, of course. But like this is a real conversation. He wouldn't do the whole dog because it's like a 40-pound animal. He said he would do the head. So
seems worse.
He's gonna decapitate the head.
Yeah, he's gonna
burn the
decapitate.
You
rest
can
of the
also just get
body.
your animals taxidermied.
nope, they don't use the real eyes. I'm not gonna have the dog looking at me with somebody else's eyes.
They never
That's
use real
fucking,
eyes.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Well, there's marbles, but
I don't like that. No,
I'm
it's
not
all about his eyes.
telling you what to change.
Their
So-
eyes would rot.
So
That's-
I'm aware, but I mean, unless they can perfectly replicate his beautiful little eyes, I'm
almost
not
none of
gonna.
the animals the same. Actually, it's almost all just.
So I'm thinking I'm going. And so my other best friend Luke, because Matthew, I've been mad at for most of this year. So Luke
Are
is
all
gonna.
of your friends biblical names?
Yeah, no, it's really fucking funny actually.
Do they all
John?
No, there's a John. There's a John.
And do they all restore dead animals?
Well, no, Matthew does. Luke can do.
Jesus came back from the dead.
And
but
I
we
got the dog with
raised-
Luke. Luke and I used to date. He's like the only boyfriend I've ever had that I still speak to. And he's like my best friend. He's like my brother. It's kind of weird that we've had sex. Anyway, we got the dog together. So he said he would do it. And he's going to turn his fur into a pelt for me that I can hang on the wall.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
next
make
to
it
his
into
skull.
a rug.
No, because I don't want to walk on him because he's too
Yeah.
precious. So I'm going to get all these souvenirs from the animal. I have some of his little dog teeth that I'm going to turn into necklaces and shit.
This feels like how the Indians would use every part of.
I love the fuck out of this
The
dog.
deer?
This dog is a perfect little creature.
I'm flabbergasted. That's a lot of things to do that you're gonna have to pack every time you move somewhere. So.
Oh, you have not seen how much shit I have. This is just.
you're not gonna get another dog. That's what it is. So, or are
I'm
you?
probably not. Yeah. I don't know. Not right away. I mean, I thought about getting one before he died, so then I could like emotionally transition. But then I'm like,
It's also hard for the animal at that point to see that other animal die.
is it?
Yeah.
Well,
if they like each other.
But I also think I'm just like, whatever. I'm a comic. It's hard having a dog. It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
So.
Well, mine lives in Texas with
Yeah,
my wife.
I mean, but whatever.
But I get to see it once a month.
So yeah, I mean, maybe try not having a dog. I've had a dog 11 years. I mean, 12,
I think
13
we have more
maybe.
time for it. It makes it easier. So.
Yeah, and for the majority of his life, I did. I think. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he looks happy. You put little videos of him on there.
Hell yeah, I do.
My dog looks very similar to your dog, actually.
I know.
Jasper.
I've seen pictures.
He's wonderful.
So.
What's your dog's name?
Geronimo.
My name is Jasper and Geronimo. They'll be in heaven together someday. So.
So yeah, Father's Day. Were you gonna ask me about Father's Day?
Yeah, but let's finish. Let me finish. Put a bow on shit. People. I already forgot all the things we're talking about. So yeah, Father's Day. His dad stinks. Your dad, we never heard about your dad other than your brother hates him.
I don't have a father. Well, I mean, I guess I have a father.
That's what I mean.
That's interesting. I was asking my mom about my dad when I was visiting, just because like how they met and all that. And I was an accident, obviously. And my dad wanted me terminated. That's why I hate him. No.
That was 2 years ago. Get this bitch out of here.
You really don't know about my dad?
You've never told me about him. We never talked about him.
My father left.
To be fair, until this last month, you were usually drunk when I talked to you. So
yeah, but I mean, my dad's a hot topic. His name is Howard Hale Henson.
Oh, that's an amazing name. Your dad was the original Triple H.
Yeah, and he had a weird relationship with his mom, of course. She was fucking weird. I think her name was Emma. But my father's a criminal psychiatrist, and he also had his own independent practice. So when he left my mom, he left her for one of his patients. But he had 2 other wives before that. The one before my mother he loved a lot and had many... he had children with both of them, I think. So I have a bunch of half-brothers and a half-sister.
So what happened with the second one? The
second one, like... would just cheat on him and do whatever she wanted. Like, she left a Christmas party with another man and be like, you watch the kids. And he, like, adored her. So he gave her everything in the divorce. So then he met my mom, and they kind of married like, oh, this will be, like, a solid choice, you know? And I hated that I asked this question, but I guess they had a pretty good sex life. You know? But then after she got pregnant,
how did your mom tell you that? Your mom was just
because I was like...
oh, and he was a demon on the sack. Let me tell you, Catherine.
Here's the thing I remember about my dad. I remember...
No, answer what I said.
Wait, what?
What did your mom tell?
Because I'm getting there.
Okay.
God damn you.
No, you started another story.
No, but because I asked this question. Because I remember my father, like, I remember doing all this fun stuff with him. Like, he would do a Goofy voice and a Donald Duck voice, and he had this big suitcase. And
while he was having sex with your mom?
Yeah, always. Yeah, and he had this suitcase.
Oh boy!
I can't do Donald Duck.
Boy, Catherine.
Yeah, neither of you can.
Oh boy, Catherine.
Neither of you can do the voices. So.
That was the fall of when Goofy falls places. I didn't do Donald Duck though. For every ring you take off, that's one more punch we're getting after the show. So he's taking 3 off right now. So you would do funny voices.
Okay, I adored my father because...
Did he do a funny voice when he left? Like, bye. oh gosh, Catherine, I gotta go.
My mom reminded me that he actually left... You know when you're very young and you have very few memories or whatever? They had this like very epic Halloween party at my house, and he apparently
and then he ghosted you.
He ghosted my mom. He left that night, apparently. He said, I'm leaving you. And he left... Oh. And
now,
apparently
you really
the
tell
mayor...
the end of the story before she can...
Yeah, well, you fucking cocksuckers won't let me get the full story.
I'm on your side on this one. That joke would have been awesome if you had let her tell the actual end of the story.
This is why Misha's been doing comedy this long and is nowhere, right? His timing is off.
Because we didn't... that would have been so epic if you had waited till she said that's what was going to happen.
I jumped to the end.
You buried the lead. All right, so you had this epic Halloween party.
Yes, I guess the mayor of Reno was there.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. Ooh la la.
So he was a criminal psychologist in Reno?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? I know.
Very busy.
Isn't that like...
Oh, it turns out he's a drunk. Everyone's just a drunk.
Yeah. So,
So was the second wife a showgirl or something? Is that why?
I don't know who the second wife was.
Blackjack dealer?
It was just some lady. I have no idea who she was. So then he married my mom.
Mm-hmm. How did they meet?
Okay, what did my mom say? I guess they met at some doctor party, you know?
I had 2 queens. He was showing 7'10".
And she said that their first date, my brother was there. My brother's 20 years older than me, so I guess that would have made him... Who knows how old that would have made him?
19.
No, because their first date...
I like it. No.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
I don't know.
Because it was a mistake, and then 20 years.
So he was there.
It checks out.
And I guess my brother never liked him. I guess my father was a horrible driver and like drove up on the curb. And I guess when he dropped my mom and brother off
because he's
at home,
figuring your mom out, he's trying to drive. No shit.
I feel like here's what's gonna start happening. I'm gonna lay down some rules here. If I'm gonna tell a story and if they get fucking interrupted, then I'm moving on to the next thing. That story over. Not finishing it. Now what's your next question?
Catherine.
I don't do this.
It's called having fun.
I'm losing my train of thought.
No, you're barreling through is what's happening. So have fun with it. Come on, just get
I'm
in the
not
moment.
having fun.
I know because you're not drinking. You're worried about other stuff. Just be in the moment. So he was about. You're also going 10 different places, and it's my fault. I'm sorry. So your brother
really knows how to talk to you. It
Your
is
brother-
the most impressed I've ever been.
Catherine Whisper. So this is their first date. Your stepbrother's there.
He's not my stepbrother.
Your
He's my
half-brother,
half-brother.
sorry.
He's my half-brother on my mom's side.
Yeah, your mom's son is there. Your soon-to-be dad on a first date. Where are they?
I don't know where they went.
So your brother's just hanging out with them though. He's basically
my
an
mom
adult
said
at this point.
my mom said my brother was there. Well, my parents were married 10 years. My dad left when I was 5. So,
your brother's like 15 here.
my brother would have been around 15, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay.
Or
That's
maybe a
fine.
little
Couldn't
earlier.
get a babysitter.
Having the teenage son show up on the first date.
That's showing all the cards right there. That's some Texas Hold'em bullshit.
Yeah.
So
So
You really want this card metaphor to work.
I'm trying. It has not worked yet.
2 queens, a 7-10.
No, their date was because they were at a blackjack table. That's how they met. That's what I was
I
saying.
mean, it's Rito.
Yeah.
So
That's why I'm doing it. so we're on a date. You don't know where, but
And
your
he was
brother's
like,
there.
I'm all in.
Again, you should have waited. Okay. So
I think of it and I have to say it.
that's why he's the one who's fucking it up. I'm making it
Oh,
great.
I know. I point on him for all of my problems.
You're saying wonderful things. Okay, listeners, what you need to do, you need to take what Misha says and edit it out and play it later on. And it's like, I see what he was going for. So they're on this date. Let's go for that.
Well, and I guess when my dad dropped them off after the date was over, my brother asked my mom, "Is there something wrong with him?" And she was like, "Why?" And she was like, "He's a horrible driver. He can't drive. Like, I'm concerned. I think he might, have like a mental disorder, which
Yeah.
he probably does."
If he's hitting the curb all the time, that is a weird.
Yeah, apparently he's a horrible driver. Not Asian, but
So there's no excuse.
I knew he wasn't Asian because I'm not attracted to you. So that,
you like skinny white girls.
yeah, I'm not. We're not
Whatever.
going to get into
Anyways.
this.
Yeah,
That
that
was-
didn't really make sense. But I knew what you were going for. So it's fine. It's fine. We are not on today. So
yeah, this has been like a real dud of an episode.
yeah, you know what? Don't even listen to this one, guys. Just skip it.
But this is the one thing that you need to hear at the beginning, as opposed to everything else that shows
Like everything
up
else,
30
edit this
seconds
out, put it
later.
at the beginning. So if you listen to this again by accident, you won't. So, Rave of Nanking.
This is going to be an extra episode, just like
But-
a bonus.
I found out that I was conceived in the Virgin Islands on a boat.
Wow.
A lot of rum and cokes, apparently.
So your dad.
really share a lot with your mom.
So they've been married.
I'm a fucking adult.
They've been married 5 years. They didn't plan any more kids.
No, my mom thought she couldn't get pregnant. And then she was telling me this too. Yeah, she thought something was wrong. And so she worked for doctors. So she hit up one of her doctor friends, was like, "Listen, what was it? I can't even remember. I guess she thought she was like going through the change or whatever."
Yeah.
And
But she was pregnant.
yeah, and he was like, "Let's do a pregnancy test." And she was like, "What?"
Did you
Like,
just
dude-
fucking ruin it again?
Yeah.
How is... I'm just trying to continue the conversation.
No, you're just telling the end of a story in the middle of her story. You have done that 3 times now.
He looks so hurt. I sort of feel bad for him that you're yelling at him. Is he hurt though? You don't really have feelings.
No, I'm just confused because I thought this is like normally how we talk. And I just like get to the...
But no, she's telling a story. And like, she thought she was going to the change. Turns out she's pregnant. And you're like, because she's pregnant. And I thought you were like, that's what the end of the story is.
Yeah.
She was doing the build up and
So
you're
she
just
was
flattening
pregnant.
against the wall. Wow.
Well, we knew
You
where
should
it
quit
was
comedy.
going. That's...
You've heard these things before. I haven't.
No, I
first of all.
haven't. This is literally the first time I've heard
Actually,
like
'cause
half
I-
of these stories.
Yeah,
I
I-
just know where her mind works, so I can tell
Yeah,
where
but-
something's going.
Let it get there.
Are we going to
I'm
edit
not
this
used
part
to
out?
letting women finish.
Again, I'm
so
gonna
it's-
use.
That's fair.
There you go.
That's fair.
That was fair. But you don't watch Lord of the Rings. We know how Lord of the Rings is gonna end. They're gonna win. You don't.
You know what it is? I'm like at a movie theater, and I'm like, "Don't open the door," and then she dies
Yeah.
like this.
I wish I would die. So
So they find out she's pregnant, and your dad is like,
So
what
then,
the
well, so
fuck?
then I was like, I asked my mom how she told him. I forgot what they were doing, but she said that she told him. Fuck, I wish I could. Okay, she told him, and then he was very stoic about it, and then like politely suggested getting rid of it, and then she was like, well, I'm not going to do that, and then he was like, okay. And then that was sort of it. He was pretty cold about it. And then I was born, and he was not into it. But apparently, like, adored me because I was very smart, you know, but also let me get away with everything. Like, apparently I would hit him. And it's funny, I remember this. Now I know why I like slapping in the bedroom.
Jesus.
But, like, I would just hit him, and he would let me do whatever
Because you
I
hit your
wanted.
dad? See how that feels?
And my mom said, you know, so my mom was like the bad guy, right? Because she's the one who always made me do all the shit. And I would just like hit him and get whatever I wanted out of him. And I was rotten to her. And she would be like, you do not hit people. And I would like never hit her. And, you know, my mom would be just like this little fucking brat. But she'd never
got
say
back at
it
her
to
later,
me.
so.
Yeah, right. I mean, but yeah, but what I found out on this trip, so this is a pretty big revelation. We were talking about all this over dinner. And I was talking about my dad, and I was like, I never really felt connected to my dad. I just preferred my father because he did all this fun stuff, you know, taught me to dip my burgers in ketchup, which I still fucking do like an animal. And like we would mix these two cereals together every morning, oats and flakes. That's what we call them. Whatever, fine. These are
That sounds like fun father-daughter
yeah,
stuff.
right. But like, I never felt
Gay,
really
but, no.
connected to my dad. There was like a weird disconnect, and apparently no one ever did either. Like all my mom's friends were like, you could never. He would talk to you, but he was never really connecting with people. And what I realized, I'm taking this back to another episode because I was thinking a lot about this, like. You know, because people were like, oh, daddy issues. And I've been in therapy, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, even when the divorce happened, like, all my teachers were like, we would have never known. Like, I didn't change my behavior. You know, kids usually start acting out like mommy and dad, you know, whatever. My behavior didn't change. It always felt like just one day, this man who was almost like a butler to me was like gone. And, you know, and I was like, why? What is it that I am so hurt about? And what I realized.
He was your Alfred.
Yeah, he was my Alfred. Yeah, Downton Abbey. But what I realized was
I was
like,
going Batman.
Yours is a better reference. I was like, yeah.
oh really? Oh, I thought Downton Abbey
Yeah.
because like Lady Mary has out whatever.
Yeah, no,
I
she
think,
just
oh
wants to
no,
be a
I don't think his
princess.
name's
No,
Alfred
it
though.
is.
I don't think his name's Alfred. But what I was like, who was the other male figure in my life? Like blah blah blah, and I was like, oh my god, because from the time I was born until around, I guess I was 9 or 10 or whatever, the man I adored was my brother. And then
I was
that
so hoping
night
it was
happened.
Santa Claus.
No, but that night he squeezed my scab.
McNeil Lair hour. So you have to put pauses so the audience can understand what you're saying.
What do you mean?
No, we punched it up a little bit right there. So the McNeil Lair hour was a
But
pretty
like
good joke.
my brother, I like loved my brother. Every time he would he lived there for a while, and he would leave and he'd come back and whatever. And then that night he flew in and squeezed my scab effectively. Do you remember that episode,
Yeah.
everybody? Effectively ended this trust because he like broke my door down, screamed at me, squeezed I'd been writing this little letter to him about how like he had been this buffer between my mom and I forever, and I like trusted him, and that ended that night. And because he's exhibited anger issues like that repeatedly since, it's never repaired.
Right.
So it was like my daddy issues are about my fucking brother.
Interesting. So porn is right.
and because I felt more hurt by that.
Just let that sit.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Sislovesme.com.
But yeah, like because
Wait, I want to point out I knew where that story was going, and I let it sit.
Yeah.
oh god, when
Okay.
you
Thank
a
you.
fucking round of applause, he shut the fuck up for once. Okay.
I know where something's going. I was guessing.
Yeah, we
Okay.
all are. But it's been called having a conversation. You let
Yeah.
them finish.
So
I'm just so
I
tired
love
of
you're making a
always listening
joke.
to
I feel we're gonna make a joke about it, I get it.
I
but-
just realized I've never been that sad. I mean, I've been sad in that way, like you're sad. You're like, oh, I never like had a dad and never got to do those fun dad things. I mean, I did
Yeah.
for a little bit, but like, I'm not like, oh, I miss this man. I'm like, I didn't know that man. I was never connected to that man. That man did fun things with me, but I
Your
like,
butler was a good
you know,
analogy,
he fucked
yeah.
me. But no, I'm kidding. That's a joke. He
That's
was
a
my
different
butler.
type of incest
But
porn.
my brother, I remember feeling like I know this person, I love when this, and then that ended, and you know he's 20 years older than me, so it's like he could have been my fucking dad. Who knows? You know.
No, that makes sense.
So I just had this whole
I
like
think your
epiphany.
Mom knows.
Yeah, right. So I had this whole epiphany that you know because everybody's like, well, it's about your father's abandonment, but I think it's about my brother's abandonment and anger issues. Look at that.
Yeah. I didn't. When you told that story, I didn't realize that your relationship was totally different before then. I figured it was always
No,
animosity.
No, it wasn't. That's why that particular thing was so shocking. It like switched one day, and I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but he's like a very angry man now. Like, I mean, he's had an outburst this year. You know what I mean? Not at me, but at
We're
my
gonna
mom.
see him get dragged off a plane one day.
I would love
I will
that
not give up
because
my
at
seat.
this point, I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. Fuck you. Like this is like now.
He's like what, 40 something?
He is 50. He is a 50-year-old man now.
Dude, your dad is or your brother is my dad's age.
My father is like 78, I think.
That's so weird.
When's the last time you had any contact with him?
I saw him a few years ago in the Supreme Court of Nevada.
What for?
He was interviewing her. She was the criminal.
Yeah, right.
No, I was gonna
That's,
say.
you know, I have it. It's my closer. Thank you.
Yeah, I figured he got busted for counting cards.
No, they're in the divorce. Basically, my mother was awarded something in the divorce that my father decided to contest and then
What was
sue
it?
her. It's about like money that gets put aside.
Oh, okay.
For
Like an IRA
retirement?
kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, and it ended up going to the Supreme Court of Nevada.
I thought it was one of those things where it's like you guys went to one of those gigantic slot machines, and it's like put
Plinko?
put $1 and you might win $1 million, and it's like they both put their hand on it together, and it's like who gets the money?
Oh, that's funny.
My hand was on the bottom. My hand was on top of yours.
Yeah.
I'm the one who really pushed it down. That kind of shit.
So I saw him. That's it. I saw him from across the room.
But no contact with
No.
him. No, like,
He
hey,
looks like a man who never had children. He looks like and he's had plenty.
he's got a weird story, man. Like that whole second wife, like gave
Yeah.
her everything after he got cucked out. It's like that's
I'm just listening to that story going, is this what's going to happen to my dad?
Yeah. So
Or-
no, because he doesn't adore anybody. So,
So I've got like a half sister and some half brothers from him, and then the half brother from my mom. And so then he married one of his patients, right?
after that's right.
After
He left
my
your
mom.
wife for
He
that.
left my mom for this woman, Mimi, who was one of his patients and was like apparently
But he's a criminal psychologist.
he's a criminal. I know this is illegal. And this is
Right.
one of the reasons.
So she was a criminal.
Well, so he had an independent practice too.
Oh, okay.
So that was what he did for like the state, and then he had an independent practice. So this was why, like, when I ended up getting sent away, he weighed in, like, you know, and had some. The fewer words he spoke were the most powerful about these types of programs that people get sent to and kids get sent to. But this woman was like apparently, a schizophrenic, alleged rape victim, but who knows, you
Right.
know.
Jesus.
And she had a kid named Timmy who may or may not have Down syndrome.
Wow, your wife is just South Park at this point.
And so
Is she
during
Butters?
my parents Are you calling me Butters?
Yes.
Fuck you.
Your
It's
brother's
absurd.
Cartman.
That's why it's funny. So, your brother's Cartman.
My brother's
He
Cartman.
does, yeah. That's pretty funny.
So, but my
that's,
parents.
That's crazy.
Yeah, my parents' divorce took 10 years.
Wow.
My father fought my mother for everything he didn't fight the previous wife for.
Which wasn't much. So.
Yeah, and he fought her for absolutely everything. Like my father had a wine cellar, and they had stained glass doors. He fought her for the stained glass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every fucking thing. 10 years, and we
Well,
moved to
your mom fought
California.
too. So I mean, that was.
Well, I mean, because in Nevada, the legal amount of child support, the maximum is $500 a month, and it ends after like 3 years.
Oh wow, that's
So it's
crazy.
absolutely
that is
nothing.
A tiny amount
Yeah,
of
so
money.
yeah, she had to fight because it was like now, she was now working full time. She delivered bagels and worked for doctors. So
I
she
gotta
would
get people pregnant in Nevada.
Yeah,
That
That'd be
sounds
different now.
Like a steal.
It's not really.
Really?
Nevada's horrible. And so so she would
$500,
wake up at
Jeremy?
like 3 a.m. and our garage at this point my father left was filled with boxes of bagels. She would go on these deliveries around Reno and Tahoe and then drive back in time to get me up and get me ready to go to school, take me to school, and then go to her second job. And then go to fucking court. So yeah, she did have to fight for stuff because
Yeah, that's insane.
it wasn't because she was a bitch. It was because she's like, I need.
I didn't think you were almost a bitch. I was
But,
like,
but I mean, you know what I mean? It wasn't like one of the, and she
I
never,
was like more of a War of the Roses type of thing. So
let me know any of this was happening. I had a very nice childhood in activities,
and all the things you did to her,
blah, blah, blah.
everything you put her through.
well-
I'm sorry, I'm just playing. I'm not trying to.
No. I mean, but Mimi would show up, I guess, wearing a little Bo Peep outfit to their court hearings. Because she's a fucking psycho, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
I would love to meet Timmy, though. I would love to fucking kick your ass, kid. I don't.
He's just some adult with Downs, just as Zorro. Just,
And he might not have Downs, but he might just have some sort of mental thing. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, apparently my
all
father.
we know is he was kicked in the head by Jesus at some
Yeah.
point. So
My father's still married to Mimi, and so
wow.
what
'Cause he can cheat
happened?
on her.
So his name's Howard Hale Henson. I believe he lives in Sparks, Nevada. If anybody wants to look him up and send him some words, because he's like a fucking asshole. So basically, this court thing was like, my mother was supposed to get some amount of money a month after he retired, based on their
You know you're
something.
on camera, right? So-
Jesus. Something that she was awarded in the divorce. And she, was like, look, I think that's too much money. You've been married to Mimi longer. How about we crunch the numbers and and lower the percentage? So instead of me taking this several grand, I was married to you for 10 years, $900 of that. And then Mimi can have the rest. And my dad said, no, I want you to have nothing. And my mom had lost in Nevada because you will.
Yeah.
And she gets nothing. And my father has plenty of money. And I will see none of it, which fucking sucks because, and he was the kind of dickhead who would they would send me letters being like, if you come live with us, you'll get a horse, and pictures of them together and shit like that. This is a bad person. He's a Gemini. Fuck him. And but he's just a bad person. He's just done bad things. And I'll never
You
say
didn't want
anything.
a horse? What did your mom say?
Of course I wanted a horse. She started keeping those from me and then let me see them all at a point in my life because they were just manipulative. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I've read them now,
Yeah.
and I'm like, these are just you don't want me. You don't want
Oh,
children.
yeah.
You
Just
wanted
wanna
a
make my
pawn.
mom
No, I was just wondering
miserable.
Yeah.
if you saw this as a kid and was like, this motherfucker
Yeah.
trying to get me for a horse.
So he's just a not a cool dude, and
Yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
and it stemmed from behavior that as an adult I can look at objectively at this point and be like, no, you're kind of a fucking asshole.
No, that makes sense. So what do you do on Father's Day, Zan? Just go fuck someone's dad?
I wonder. I've never, it's great. I've never had to worry about it.
Yeah, he just makes a phone call and it's like, Dad, thank you for me being able to do this that I'm doing right now because you pay for this.
I mean, what
I
I would
really do.
like,
I'm like, yeah, you paid for this.
If it
phone
weren't for
call.
you, I could not make this. So
I would love it. I mean, for me, it would be great if people would troll my dad on my behalf on Father's Day.
we say in jest, if you happen to be doing that anyway, that's not on us. We're not asking you to. But if you do, email Catherine or whatever.
Howard Hale Henson, Sparks, Nevada.
You look it up. We're not going to
Apparently
tell
he
you
has
how
a
to find
ranch
it.
with horses.
Yeah, if you
Her name's Mimi Henson, and then Timmy. Go for
ask,
it.
we just want to find out if she's still wearing a bow. So,
Yeah. Oh, so fucking weird.
she was just like Bo Peep from Toy
And-
Story. So.
and then- yeah, and I'm,
And he was a real Woody.
There's a snake in my boots. So, well, we're almost out of time, but my answer is quick. My dad's dead. So,
Good night.
Good night, everybody. No, my dad died when I was 18. So, yeah, he fell off a roof. I think I said this already.
Yeah.
Had a heart attack at some point.
terrible.
Either had a heart attack, fell off the roof, or fell off the roof, had a heart attack. So, he's buried in San Antonio. So, yeah, I can't really go do anything about that. So
You can't go bring him back to life.
nope, yet. But I do have a necklace made of his teeth. So
Well, when you
so
love
when he
someone,
comes
you give
back,
him
he won't
teeth.
be able to talk. It's a real gummy conversation. It's like,
I was gonna boil his head, but it weighed too much.
oh,
I think it would be dope to have like I want to be turned into a skeleton. Okay, that is what I want.
Like, for science.
No, for
just
to
to fuck.
I want.
There you go, Misha.
Nice. There you go.
There you
yeah.
go.
No, but I would like to be a skeleton hanging in my own home.
Hercules.
Okay, so why a skeleton?
Because I'll be in my house still. I can live on.
Oh, you
Everybody has
want
to
to
look
be a
at me.
skeleton in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the important part of that. So I feel like I'm.
So everything is Halloween with your family. Your
You're just
dad
gonna be-
ghosted you, and now you're a skeleton.
You're just gonna be fused into the bricks so they can't remove you.
Yeah. I wanna live on.
What pose do you want to be in?
Well, I want to be able. You can move me.
Oh, so you want to be able to just freeform armature
Hell yeah.
when you're just like, I'm giving the finger.
There's
my,
Catherine
My
right there.
finger's in my nose. Oh, no, look, I'm fucking the skeleton. People are gonna do that. You know that. So
Well, then I will
you'll be dead. What do you
die
care?
as I lived.
Not coming.
Accurate.
Fun times.
Oh, we did it, guys.
Yep.
That
Well,
one was hard, but we did do it.
yeah, well, we're not done yet. We're wrapping up. Cool. Well, that's Father's Day, guys. Hopefully your Father's Days are better than that.
I mean, I'm excited.
Go to a Mets game or court. I don't know. So, I don't know. Enjoy the horse you gave for in exchange for your
I never
mom's
got
love.
the
You know
horse.
what's weird?
No, my implication was these people picked the horse over their mom.
Gotcha.
So
Fair.
I feel like the time that you stopped talking to your dad is the time I started talking to my dad again. Because I didn't talk to my dad for from 12 to
I
don't
didn't
know.
have a choice. My father, I just want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice in the matter. My dad, I would go visit him. One time he had Mimi there and he left me to do a craft. And I remember I went to look for him in this apartment and they were laying on the bed. So I told my mom because I was not tattled on him, but she was like, how was your visit? And I explained what happened. And she was like, wait a minute, this woman is there who is mentally unstable because she had been over to dinner at our house. And my mother discovered that they, whatever. So
your mom met her before.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
yeah, my dad
Your
had
dad
her.
brought her
and,
over. They
you know,
were
'cause
already having.
and then my mom followed them once. Because because she sensed something.
He's driving like he does when I give him a hand job.
So
The police know him.
It's all hand job Henson over there. That's
so
don't be on the sidewalk when he's driving with a lady.
so the court decided.
They gave him a fourth H. So
That's pretty funny.
Oh, hand job Henson.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So,
so
she
after
brought
that,
him to
the
his
court
house.
decided that he wasn't allowed to see me without
Supervision.
yeah, they call it something,
Yeah.
but a mediator. And basically, they set a date and a time. The woman who was going to do it, I didn't like her, but she was the principal of my preschool, so I had known her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was arranged to be at my elementary school in the principal's office after school. And, school ended. I went there. She was there. I was there. We waited an hour, and he never showed up.
Ugh.
Yeah. So that's probably the saddest memory I have of my dad because I remember being like, why am I here? I don't want to be at school. But it's like when I think about little me, I'm like, oh, that fucker didn't show up. Fuck you. What a dick. And I never saw him again. I had never saw him again. And I think that's why I'm very good at ending relationships. So
Not
I actually
stories, but relationships. Slowly take a drink. I dare you. Every time you get mad, you take a drink, which I think is very interesting.
It's because she
Well, I
wishes
wish
it
it
was
was
booze.
alcohol.
It's like, I wish this was vodka. I wish this was vodka.
God, I miss vodka.
Interesting. So, last thing. So, by next episode, you'll be past your 30 days. What are your plans?
Plans?
You said you're going to do a 30-day cleanse. Like you only said 30 days. You didn't
I'm
say
done drinking.
That's for good now.
I think so. I don't see any. Yeah.
This genuinely makes me sad.
Why? A
Like,
lot of people
I
are
love
saying-
drinking with you.
I know. Last night I was really freaking out about it because I started. Well, I was high on bad cocaine, so that was probably it.
First of all, it was pink, so it's probably fiberglass.
Yeah,
but
right.
Nothing. All right.
But
I didn't know fiberglass was pink when it was like that.
That's just pink in general. So.
and I started thinking about all the good times. You know, like I was like, oh, all these fun times I'll never have again. But it's like I've had way more bad times.
On
So-
booze?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like I'm always chasing those really good nights, but I've had just a lot of what I mean. I don't know.
Exactly. That's why I stopped.
I've had a ton of fun.
Are you
What-
stopped? Have you stopped too?
I haven't drank.
He hasn't
forever.
drank in a long time.
I have not noticed this at all because I've been drunk this entire time.
I'll get
so-
one drink ticket, use it for Diet Coke.
Yeah, and
because
it's,
the
I'm gonna
lantern
stop giving you.
doesn't want to give you a fucking free Diet Coke unless
I will
Patrick's
just
there.
get Diet Cokes for you.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, they love
When it-
me there.
yeah, and I'm
Because Patrick will do it for me, and some of them do, but
Yeah.
Jackie, what was his name? Beep. Other people who pay attention don't really want to like.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Let me know. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be awesome. That's fun.
Let's cut this part out. That's the only
I
part
know,
that
it's
we
really
cut out.
stupid.
It's probably inside baseball. If you want free drinks at the blah blah blah, go to Misha. No one made it this far of the episode anyway. Sorry, I'm just playing. All right.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I'm more miserable when things are technically better.
That's good.
So
The technically better part, not that you're miserable.
I know. I mean, I'm chasing like something that I'm chasing like a feeling I had in my youth that like it's not happening, and it's
Being
not
skinny.
happening. Fuck you. What the fuck?
I don't know.
I'm not
that's
fat
drinking
now.
for 30 days. No, but
I didn't
all right.
lose any weight.
You haven't
not
lost any
drinking.
weight?
I hate it. Yeah.
Wow, that's,
I don't think so.
That's
Well,
the
you
only
never
thing.
really ate a lot anyway, though. You're not literally.
I love food.
I know, but you're not.
I am going to the gym though.
Yeah. Well, now you have the energy too, don't you?
Yeah.
No.
Even though my sleeping's still all fucked up. But it's just like, I don't know. I'm like, I just made it Sophie's choice. I was like, do I want drugs or do I want alcohol? And I want drugs.
Yeah.
So I'm going with drugs. Alcohol is too readily available, too easy for me to shirk all my responsibilities. So if I keep it at a no, then I can do as much blow, Oxycontin, fucking
Yeah, we are three different vices
mushrooms.
right here, aren't we? The,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're food, booze, and drugs.
yeah, the things we chose.
The
to-
trifecta.
If only we could all just pick sex.
But I
Anyway,
am really.
No, we would choose sex. Just sex hasn't chosen us.
That's true.
It is-
Well, she has that's just work for her.
I know. But
And technically, it's work for me at this point too. I need to lose weight.
I'm just thinking the Zelda Triforce right
Yeah,
now, and
that's
it's
exactly
just
what I thought.
alcohol.
Food,
how
drugs.
long is this fucking episode?
food.
Oh, I'm trying to wrap up, but you want to bring up that new thing. So, but yeah, I want to make sure we got to your thing about sobriety because before you had said only 30 days, and now you're choosing.
I mean,
life.
I'm at 28 today, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, good luck with that. I think it's going well. You look vibrant. So
do I? I need to find some
He
hobbies.
just has to say something so we can leave.
no, but you look. I mean, you look great. Okay, it's just like you only look angry because you're around us.
I need to find some hobbies. So I would like people to email things that they do for fun because I realize I don't have fun.
Just walk your dog. You already do fun shit. You do comedy. You know,
I know, but that is work. That's like work, you
Right,
know,
where you-
and like it's work I like, but
go to a park. Go to a museum.
No.
Just do things.
no.
They're gonna send you like, what hobbies do you want? Like,
That's what I mean.
Like, do you like baseball cards? Fuck you.
I used to play tennis. I know. I'll shuffle through them like fuck this, fuck this, fuck this. But maybe somebody will have a cool thing that they like. Like my friends
Like
back in
more
California
cocaine.
like to do cocaine and go polish rocks at the Rock Society in San Francisco.
Do you like geological shit? Okay.
I might. I don't know.
Polish
kinda
rocks.
So
wanna
I
go
need
rock
some
climbing.
ideas.
You want to go rock climbing?
I
with me?
used to play
She just-
tennis. Who wants to play tennis with me?
She just wants to polish rocks, is what she calls blowing old men. So, who then give her coke? So,
I don't even know
Rocks
if I
for
like
rocks.
cocaine anymore.
gotcha. Yeah, maybe it was a whole thing. We'll find out next week if she still likes coke, guys, and if she doesn't punch me for that blowing rocks comment. So, till then, guys, I've been at Mike V. Suarez. Find me on Instagram at that.
I've been at Hi Mishahan, HIMISHAHAN.
You girl, you nasty. EW, girl, you nasty.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.
Bye.